Hey guys, welcome back. You're probably asking yourself, why am I so far off to the side today? Why is my picture off to the side? Well, boom, there you go. We're going to be talking about food labels today, and some of my tips are how to read food labels appropriately, or main things that you want to watch out for food labels, because obviously we're very much pro about logging your food. And so, the .fit system is a wonderful system for finding, your nutritional content. You simply click and drag and it pulls over, and that's great and everything, but still, you need to understand food labels to be more aware of what you're doing. When you're entering your own food, you need to be more aware of what the food labels say. So we're going to talk a little bit today about food labels. The image that's on your screen, depending how you're viewing this, it's going to be kind of small, so it's going to be hard, but I hope you get the gist of kind of what we're talking about today. And I brought some things with me, some different things that we want to look at. I just grabbed quick examples because I want to show you a couple really important things on the food label. I brought some skinny fat-free creamer. So that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Fat-free ranch, cooking spray, and one of my all-time favorites, a Cliff Bar, a carrot cake Cliff Bar, which is unbelievably good. And a couple things I just want to tell you really quick. When we look at the particular label, what we're looking at is the labels are the same on everything, and there's a couple main things that we want to look for. It's on the left-hand side in most things it will say nutritional facts, and below that it will say the amount of servings, or the serving size, the servings per container, and then all the other nutritional information that's listed down there. And we want to stop there for just a moment, because a couple things that we really want to pay attention to, and this is something that I get asked from people a lot, is making sure that they understand how many servings per container. Because if you think about that, if you're, let's say drinking a soda, for instance, and it's 120 calories, you're like, oh, okay, I can drink 120 calories, no problem. You drink the whole bottle of soda, and then all of a sudden, 2 months later, after drinking a soda a day, you realize, oh my gosh, it said 2.5 servings per container. So it wasn't 120 calories, it was 300 calories. So when you take 180 extra calories over 30 days, you're looking at, roughly, what is that, about 1.5 pounds of fat that you could have lost simply by looking at the food label a little bit more. So the really important thing on these food labels is looking at serving size and servings per container. So this particular dressing, it looks great. Fat-free ranch dressing, 30 calories per serving. It says, and in fine print right here, it says amount per serving. So it says 30 calories. We just have to look at what is the serving size. The serving size is 2 tablespoons or 33 grams. So that essentially means we want to weigh out either 33 grams. One way that we can do that is we can put our salad on our food scale and drizzle on the dressing until it gets to be 33 grams. And then that would equal 30 calories. So by paying attention, being aware of the label, we're able to accurately measure the amount of calories we're ingesting, and also looking at, it also gives you a visual. If you know 2 tablespoons, 16 servings per container, let's say if you use a quarter of this bottle, you're going to look at that and say, oh, I probably use more than a serving. Those are just a couple little things. And then as we have the breakdown, of course, when we see the label, there's the calories and calories from fat. And that's the really important thing, because you'll look at on these labels the percent daily value, and that percent daily value, as you're seeing on your screen, is based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So they're saying that based on a 2,000 calorie diet or 2,500 calorie diet, that this person should have X amount of grams of fat or this or that throughout the day. And that's good and everything, and that's what determines what they call percentage of lean or whatever. But the main thing that we want to look at is calories 30, calories from fat 0. Another prime example would be like lean beef. It will say 96% lean beef. But when you look at the calories, it may say per serving 140 calories, and then calories from fat 60. So almost half of that particular product is fat. And so you really don't want to look at the percentages of fat on something. You want to look at the calories from fat. So real quickly, I'm really focusing on this square right here, but the main things in the nutritional facts is the serving size, how big is that particular serving, and the servings per container. Look at that in every label and don't just assume that whatever it says calories wise it contains for the whole bottle. And and then of course you go down and you look at calories and then calories from fat. But just remember, whatever the calorie says, that's per serving, not per container. Now, the Cliff Bar, for instance, is a little bit different story, because when I still look at the nutritional facts, and the first thing that jumps into my eyes is 240 calories. Okay, that's great, but then initially, because I know about other things, I look at, okay, well, how many servings? Is that 240 calories per bar, or is that 240 calories per serving? And the serving size is 1 bar. So there's 1 serving per container. So if this particular thing says 240 calories, that means that there's 240 calories per bar. This one, it says 30 calories. This means that there's 30 calories per serving, not per container, because we have to look at servings per container. And that will also ring true on everything else. So grams of carbohydrates, for instance, this says 7, but there's 16 servings per container. So there's over 100 grams of carbohydrates per bottle of ranch dressing. I just want to make sure that we're calculating all of that to look at how much is in the per container, not what is in the serving, and making sure our math is appropriate. And obviously, a couple things I just want to pick on, because there's all kinds of marketing stuff out there about marketing, or companies are trying to market slyly to get your business and make you think like you're drinking something better. This is skinny, fat-free creamer, so you automatically think it's better. But what you want to look at is, if we look once again, serving size, 1 tablespoon. Servings about 32, so there's 32 servings per bottle. The calories are 30. Now I'm going to tell you that regular creamer that you use, like the powdered creamer, per serving is 30 calories. There's no difference between this and regular creamer. The caloric level is exactly the same. They just put some fancy labeling, put things like skinny, fat-free, and therefore you think it's better. But the other thing that I want to tell you about is at the very bottom here, or on our dressing, it's off to the other side. But the other thing that you want to pay attention to is the ingredients. The ingredients that are at the very bottom. And they're listed chronologically about weight. They're listed in the particular order that are in here. And so if we're talking about nutrient density, eating good nutrient dense food, we also want to look at the ingredients to see, okay, how much crap is really in here, or what kind of quality is in these particular foods. And we look at ingredient 1, water. Ingredient 2, sugar. Ingredient 3, corn syrup. And the list of ingredients is there by weight. So we know the 3 most predominant ingredients in this particular label is water, sugar, and corn syrup. Okay, so you're putting water, sugar, and corn syrup in your coffee. How healthy do you think this really is? It's the same calories as a regular creamer. You might as well use the regular creamer. The last little bit on my soapbox that I'm going to talk about is I have cooking spray, but a lot of people do the spray butter stuff. 0 calories. I'm going to spray butter all over my potatoes or whatever it may be, and they think, oh, it's 0 calories. The label says 0 calories. Well, the thing that you also have to pay attention is if we're aware of the label, if we're looking at the label and it says serving size, 1/4 of a second spray. Servings per container, 565 servings. And so it says 0 calories, but how they can get around that is 1/4 of a spray. It's just a mist. It's like nothing. It does nothing for it. And so probably a mist is nothing. But when we look at the ingredient list is soybean oil, soy lecithin. So the first ingredient, the most predominant ingredient, is soybean oil. So there is absolutely no way. All oil is about 120 calories per tablespoon. So if the first ingredient is soybean oil, there is no way by spraying this on your food by putting it on your potatoes by taking the spray butter stuff that you're not consuming calories. The reason why they can put it as 0 calories is a quarter of a second or 565 servings per container is 0 calories. Probably contains trace calories, but if you use enough of this, you're going to have the same amount of calories if you're putting actual oil on it. So those are a few things that that I want you to be aware of. Today is just talking about being aware of the food label, making sure that you're looking at the serving size, the servings per container, the amount of calories, and then when you start looking at the fats, everything else, you know, things that obviously people want to avoid, sodium, cholesterol, all that, that's all listed, but keep in mind that's per serving, and also looking at the ingredient list. And I'm just looking over a few notes that I made to see if there's anything that I missed on this. I think, you know, and I think one of the other things it lists, if you're looking for more nutrient density on a lot of this stuff, is, you know, for instance, if we look at our ranch dressing, is the vitamin content, vitamin A, vitamin C, or calcium, iron. You know, that's another thing to think about. You're trying to cut fat out of your diet, but you know, if you use a product that maybe is more dairy oriented, because this, you know, is not going to contain any calcium, for instance. So this will also kind of talk about some of the ingredient or nutrients that are in this particular product, and it also will help you look at, you know, as long as you're aware of what you're taking in, how much some of the things that you may be trying to avoid in your diet, fat, cholesterol, and so forth, may be there. And also another thing that I generally will look for in carbohydrates is the fiber content. We talk a lot about fiber, the importance of fiber and how much fiber you should have in your diet, but it's listed here on the label underneath carbohydrates. It's listed as carbohydrates and fiber and sugar. So if you're concerned about sugar and we're concerned about fiber, those are things that you want to look at. I hope that gives you a brief explanation of a food label. I know this was a long video. We'll talk a little bit more in detail about this if anyone has specific questions about a food label. Have a great day.
When you feel that something's wrong, I'll shelter you and keep you warm. I'll never let you walk alone.